Oh, my head. Man, what happened? Where am I?
Hello, Mr. Code. I want to play a game.
What the hell?
You analyze and review ponies for a living, putting them on trial. But now, they will put you on trial. Right now, you are trapped in the most impenetrable...
Boring. Let's see what else is on. That guy got shot.
Hey, how did you do that?
Hello, my clone, you're coming to stop me. You will die. Ha 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 ha.
Hey, you can't do that,
It's a rerun.
Stop that! You're pissing me off! Now then, on to your trial. Right now, you're...
Oh, the power reserves got shut down. Here we go.
Welcome to the Judge Network for all things Udgy related. Today's topic, how to escape an awkward situation.
Step 1, get a new TV.
This is Udgy, signing off.
We open on a high seas adventure with the main six vacationing to Horseshoe Bay Beach, where they partake in various merriment. We're also introduced to our first subplot involving Fluttershy, who just can't seem to let her newly rehabilitated fish Gil go.
Oh, Gil's in a lot of trouble.
Fluttershy's characterization in this comic is essentially a continuation of her break from Best Night Ever, with our resident animal expert going to excessive lengths to keep him, literally chasing him to the end of the world. Though the comic never reaches that episode's level of madness we saw from her, which with this team of artists could have yielded some really hilarious imagery. I also found her acceptance arc a little rushed, especially near the end. Seeing as it's a subplot, I normally wouldn't focus on it as much, but because this rushed resolution is the reason for the main story's resolution, it feels detrimental to the climax's flow. But more on that later. We also learn that pineapples grown here have the side effect of a truth serum. A plot device, while brought up later, doesn't really have an effect on the progression of the story. But old Gil is swept into the ocean by the arrival of Hoofbeard the Pirate, a complete planification of Jack Sparrow from flamboyant design, suave, eccentric personality, and quotes.
Savvy.
He's on a quest to find treasure, making a trip to the Galloping Ghost Islands to retrieve a map from his old crew. The girls agree to go, each with their own separate goals in mind. Fluttershy looking for Gil, AJ, Rainbow, and Pinky to live out a pirate fantasy, Twilight for exploration and discovery, Rarity on her latest love interest. Speaking of which, Spike is demoted now to Parrot, further proving that even the comic staff has no idea what to do with this character, and is reduced to dropping out love letters in a bottle. Now in full pirate regalia, the main six reach the islands, which essentially is a glorified bona fide Tortuga, with shady characters, debauchery, gambling, and cheating.
Cheat! Get the helicopter.
And it's here where the comic reaches full steam in its humor, with the main six in full pirate mode, especially Rainbow Dash, who is hilariously over the top, quoting every possible pirate lingo, and even referring to their group as the four ponies of the apocalypse.
My little pony, apocalypse pony, punish mankind for their sins.
After a brief but fun swashbuckling scene, our heroes are cornered by Hoofbeard's old crew, who regale the mad captain's backstory. The treasure map is apparently cursed and is marked by a wandering X, traveling into perilous storms and constantly changing directions, eventually led to the crew's mutiny. I'll come back to the map later, but meanwhile, AJ attempts to coax information out of the captain, with the truth serum power of pineapples, but has no effect on him, which again begs the question why they introduced this plot point in the first place. The only real purpose of this scene was to establish Fluttershy had recaptured Gil again, going from a fishbowl to a coconut.
Gil's moving up to the big leagues, boy.
Back in town, the crew discovers Twilight is a princess, and after a failed ransom attempt, they agree to show her where the map is, and come upon their greatest foe yet.
So here's this giant enemy crab.
While the girls distract the ghost crab, Rainbow searches for the map.
I'll take a crab juice.
But Pinky uses her crabs, and bargains the release of her friends, defeating the undead crustacean. They also find one of the captain's love letters and read it, much to Rainbow's chagrin. And as Twilight points out, the letter comes off as threatening and seems really weird. The line "poisonous truth" makes him lose the endearment of his character and comes off as a little crazy and disturbing. They return to the ship and follow the Wandering X, but they're seemingly going in circles, leading the group and our resident princess to forego diplomacy and mutiny.
That guy got hit in the head with a coconut!
Continuing on their journey, Fluttershy visits Hoofbeard in the brig, and Fluttershy gets her revelation about how wrong she's been keeping Gil, now seeing Hoofbeard in jail. They finally come upon the Wandering X, which turns out to be a group of mermares. And Hoofbeard's Jewel of the Sea is the name of the mermare he's fallen for. And the ending climax here is very weird and rushed. We have the resolution of the love subplot, Fluttershy's acceptance of releasing Gil, and the most odd element is the introduce of prejudice that sea and land ponies have, saying that neither can be together. Just throwing this in the last minute just sort of comes off as awkward, and this situation now just raises so many questions. Why does this prejudice exist? How long has it been going on? And going back to the map, why was it enchanted to follow them in the first place? And apparently Equestria must be really small, or this map is incomplete, as couldn't the X just fall off the map if the mermares traveled too far? How would Hoofbeard know that his letters would reach Jewel, know it was from him, and not thought it was just some random rubbish in the ocean? And going back to the message in the letters, now knowing the revulsion the species have, this comes off as even more threatening. And then the resolution with Fluttershy relaying her revelation of it being wrong to keep Gil trapped out of love to the mermares suddenly makes them let go of their years of prejudice and allow Jewel to be with Hoofbeard. It throws so much right at the end, it comes off as a cluttered mess. We can also add another transconfiguration spell to Twilight's repertoire, with her being able to make the pirate breathe underwater. With everything resolved, the mermares call forth this awesome creature, a manta hawk. Fluttershy releases Gil, and the main six all return home. So that was our pirate adventure. Despite the rushed and weird nature of the climax, the pirate setting and the humor still made this an interesting story. I found Fluttershy's characterization fun, going overboard with her reception of Gil, and her inner conflict of love and freedom was brief, but still was an interesting aspect of the comic. We got some cool world building with some new areas, some new creatures, and of course the main six in full pirate mode was the highlight of this arc. Overall, probably the weakest arc in terms of writing, but that's just in comparison to the other previous stories. This story and the comics continue to be great spin-offs to the main series. And that's about it for this comic, so...
Yarr, so you be saying that when you read it, you had a blast?
Well, you could say that, but why... Ah, crap.